The question I've been asked is about tips and tricks to staying healthy with HIV for long term. Often people ask me how I did it, and the truth of the matter is for many years I simply used nutrition. I found out what my immune system needed in order to do its job properly, and I did whatever I could to support it. Are there tricks? Not necessarily. Are there tips? Absolutely. So one of the tips that I can offer to you is, number one, first of all, your mindset. If your mindset is not on the path of having a compelling future, seeing yourself alive in 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years' time, no amount of effort you put into nutrition and exercise, alternative therapies, all of those kind of things, none of those things are going to help you at all if your mindset is not in the right place. So the first thing we always look at is, number one, what does your future look like? So what? You're HIV positive. Big whoop-de-doo. All right, that doesn't mean anything anymore. What that means is that you've been put on notice that if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take your medication, if you don't look after your body, then the chances are you're going to die from AIDS. But if you take care of your body, if you exercise and all the rest of it, then there's things that you can do in order to maintain longevity, delay the onset of needing to take medication, things like I did for 22 years where I didn't need the pills. Why? Simply because I took very good care of my body. I found out what it needed and I gave it to it. So my body could do the job on its own. So let's look at some of these so-called tips. All right, the first tip is nutrition, the role of nutrition. Your body needs certain vitamins and minerals. Why? Not only does your body need it in order for you to sustain life, but also HIV tends to steal a lot of those things. All right, it'll steal vitamins, it'll steal minerals, it'll steal the things that it needs in order to support itself in staying alive and its ability to replicate itself. So you need to, as a person who's living with HIV, take more than what a normal person would take. Now let's look at what some of those things are. The first and the most important one is called selenium. Now selenium is a trace mineral and it is found in certain food products. What we know from the research is that a person who takes selenium, they will reduce their viral load by up to 30%. So get selenium in your diet. Now, where do you get selenium? Well, it's quite simple. You can get it from a number of different sources. If you are financially stable enough, you can buy selenium supplements. They're very, very cheap. You can get them at your pharmacy. You can get them at Dischem. You can get them pretty much at any health food store. Take a selenium supplement. But I'm all for taking natural things in food. So where do you find selenium in food? Any of your seafoods are going to have high levels of selenium. Brazil nuts, high levels of selenium. Sunflower seeds, high levels of selenium. So aloe juice is another one as well. You can make your own aloe juice, and there are methods and ways to do that. If you want more information, drop me an email, and I'll happily send it through to you how to make your own alvain sap, or what we call aloe juice. Aloe juice is a high concentration. It is the only plant in Africa that actively seeks to extract selenium from the soil. Selenium, in countries where they don't have a lot of it, you're going to find very, very high cancer rates. So let's look at the UK, for example, have some of the highest cancer rates in the world. Why? Quite simply because there's not enough selenium in the soil. They've been farming their land for thousands and thousands of years, and the selenium has been extracted. Even nowadays, when you go into the store, you will see selenium-enriched bread. You will see selenium-enriched product X. All right, so we now know that selenium plays a key role in terms of vitamins and minerals that your body requires, and you need a little bit more. Why? Simply because you're a person living with HIV. The next thing you need to look at is your iron levels. All right, and specifically ladies, when you're menstruating, you are losing a lot of blood. As a result of that, you're losing iron, which is why day 2 or day 3 of your period, you generally feel very lethargic, you have no energy. All those things come into play, and that's quite simply because you don't have enough iron in your body. Now, where do you get iron? You're going to get iron from meat. All right, that's the best source of iron that you can possibly find. Any of your proteins, your seafood, your chicken, your lamb, your cow, your goat, any kind of meat is going to give you the iron levels that you need. Now, you don't need to eat meat every single day and at every single meal. All right. What's going to happen is if you can do it 2 or 3 times a week, you're going to get enough iron in your body. And it can be something as simple as a can of pilchards. It could be a can of sardines, a pig's trotter. It doesn't need to be sitting down and having, a rump roast and all the rest of it. As long as you get some kind of protein into your body on a regular basis. Now, if you can't afford meat, look for alternatives. There's a tree called the moringa tree. All right, we grow it here in South Africa. It's a great source of nutrition. It's a brilliant source of protein. It's sustainable, so you can grow your own plant in your garden, and you don't need an entire orchard. You need 1 or 2 trees, and all you simply do is Google moringa, Moringa, and find out what its applications are and how to grow the plant. Getting hold of the seed is not that difficult. You can buy the seed, you can even buy the trees at local nurseries. So it's a matter about doing a little bit of homework, and you can find out how to get that. It is also a high producer of protein and iron. So if you can get moringa into your diet, first prize. If you can get meat into your diet, then that's even better in the long run. Then the third thing you need to look at is beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is any of your yellow vegetables or fruits. So eat a lot of squash, eat a lot of pumpkin, eat a lot of mangoes, pawpaws, anything that is orange in content, be it a vegetable or a fruit, is going to be high in beta-carotene. Once again, it is something else that the virus tends to steal from your body. Now remember that nutrition is not about fighting HIV. Nutrition is simply about giving your body the resources that it needs in order to do its job properly, and if it's doing its job properly, it will keep HIV suppressed for many, many years. But don't for one moment think that I am saying that I advocate for nutrition over antiretrovirals. Until such time as you need or go on antiretrovirals, you use nutrition. Now the nutrition is going to support your body, but also puts you in a position of feeling very empowered. You're actually doing something good for your body that is going to help and support your body in keeping HIV in check. Now, when you go on antiretrovirals, you just throw all the nutrition out the window and go, okay, I've got the pills now. Absolutely not. You do both. You do nutrition and you do antiretrovirals. It's not a case of either or, it's a case of and. Nutrition and antiretrovirals. So I still get a lot of selenium in my diet. I still get a lot of zinc in my diet. Zinc is another important thing, all right? I haven't mentioned that yet. Zinc, we talked about the thymus gland earlier in another video, where all your little cells go to be educated and get trained and then sent into the lymphatic system. Now, the school fees that are required, like any college, you've got to pay some kind of a fee. The school fee that is required for the thymus gland is zinc, all right? Men lose a lot of zinc in their sexual fluid, which is why they go to sleep after they've had sex. And it's simply an immune response to shut the body down and say, listen, there's not enough zinc in the body at this point in time. The immune system is in jeopardy. Let's shut the immune system down. And that's why men fall asleep after sex, not because they're exhausted. We know that the average sexual act is between 9 and 11 minutes. So men, you certainly can't claim exhaustion as the reason as to why you fell asleep. There are biological mechanisms at play. Zinc is essential to make the thymus gland function. So take in zinc supplements once again, your seafoods, any of your green leaf vegetables. The key is how do you prepare them? What people tend to do, let's use morojo as an example, or mbuya, or whatever it's called in your particular culture. What people tend to do is they tend to take the old leaves, the big leaves, because they think, oh, abundance, let's use the larger leaves. And then they have to cook it for up to 10 hours, and all you wind up is with this green snot that has absolutely no nutritional value. If you're going to use your green vegetables, always use the baby leaves. Do not cut the stems off, because in the little stems of the baby leaf, that's largely where you're going to find your high concentrations of zinc. So cut them off, but then chop them up, add a little bit of onion, maybe some garlic, a bit of chili or something, just to give it a bit of seasoning. Cook it for about 5 minutes, no more than that, and then add the little baby leaves in, cook it for a further 5 minutes, take it off the heat, and eat it. The longer you cook something, you've got to remember that vitamins are destroyed in the cooking process. So try not to overcook your vegetables. Rather let them be a little on the crunchy side versus this mushy pulp that has absolutely no nutritional value whatsoever. And while I'm talking about that, I want to talk about mealie meal, because a lot of people use mealie meal because of financial resources. They don't have access to decent food because they simply don't have money to be able to afford it. If you look at maize meal, it has absolutely zero nutritional value. It'll say on the packet that it's been fortified with vitamins and minerals. But remember what I told you earlier. The minute you apply heat to a vitamin, you are going to destroy the vitamin. So the more undercooked things are, and I'm not talking about your root vegetables like potatoes and sweet potatoes and things like cassava and stuff like that. Those things need to be cooked properly, all right? But those are sources of starch. Starch is an energy food, all right? So if you're going to use mini meal or you're going to use pup, what you need to do is supplement over and above the pup itself, because the pup is simply going to give you energy, a slow release energy over the course of the day. So the best time to eat pup is in the morning and at lunchtime. Do not eat pup at dinner time and then go to bed, because it's energy food. So there you have eaten a huge plate of pup. It's 8 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock you're fast asleep in bed. Well, you've got all this energy in your system that's going nowhere. So where's it going to go? It's going to go to your belly, it's going to go to your thighs, it's going to go to your butt, and you're simply going to put on weight because you're not burning off the energy. So your starchy foods you need to eat first thing in the morning and in the earlier parts of the day, in other words, up until about lunchtime. Don't eat pup after about 4, maybe about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because you're not going to be burning up any of the energy that the pup is going to be supplying to you. With the pup situation, what happens is when they take, on a piece of corn or a piece of mealie, that little piece that gets stuck in your teeth all the time when you're eating on the mealie on the cob, that is the piece with all the nutritional value in it. Now, when they take the mealie and they mill it to make pup or make mealie meal, what they do is they remove that little piece that gets stuck in your teeth, because that's got all the vitamins and minerals, but more specifically, it's got oil in it. And what the oil does is, if they were to mill it in with the rest of the mealie pup, it would make the mealie or the maize meal go off. So they remove that, and guess what they do? They turn that into food and they feed that to the cattle. All right. So if you can grow your own mealies and then make your own pup as a result of it, or your own mealie meal, that is going to be first prize, because it's not going to sit on the shelf for 3 or 4 months. It's something that you're going to turn around and use very, very quickly. So we've covered selenium, we've covered iron, we've covered zinc. What was the other one that we covered? I can't remember. I'll have to come back to you.